It's soccer season here on SFBN. We'll be covering soccer from all around the state of Pennsylvania, both boys and girls. It's In the Goal here on SFBN. Good evening and welcome to the first episode of In the Goal. I'm your host, Stephen Schreiber, and I'm joined by Kapp and Ryan Haney, the head coach of Archbishop Ryan. We have a great show here tonight, and we're going to be doing a preview of soccer all across the state of Pennsylvania, and we're going to get right into it. Jack, I know you're really interested in District 1, and in particular Suburban 1. Tell me a little bit about it.
Well, look, it's a very big state as far as soccer is concerned. There's thousands and thousands of teams. District 1 always puts out some good teams, a lot of competition, a lot of high-level soccer. So let's talk about the boys a little bit. Now, District 1 encompasses a little bit more than Suburban 1. Suburban 1 is a league. There's a bunch of different leagues, the Central League and so on throughout District 1. I kind of looked around a little bit and I wanted to get a few teams that I'd like to talk about. So one of the teams I got into a little bit was Conestoga, the Pioneers, defending state champions. You're familiar with them?
Yes, I reached out to a few coaches and I followed them last year through their state run, and Conestoga has a lot of returning players that we were mentioning earlier. And I know some of the coaches are picking them a pre-favorite if they can repeat, which hasn't been done, I think, in a long time at the state level. So they're looking forward to see if they can go on a run and repeat a state title.
They are very strong. Key players lost were Gabe Harms, Mason Miller, Blaze Milanek, Will Klein, all of whom are playing in college this year. Ohio State, Colgate, Lehigh, Haverford, pretty good players that were lost, but now they're projected again to be very good. They're the defending state champions at the 4A level, the top level for PIAA in soccer.
Yes.
So we're looking at a really good team. First championship, state championship since 2011 for Conestoga. They won the Central League, which is in Delaware County. And the head coach is David Zimmerman. They were 25-1 last year. So this is a really, really strong program.
I believe their only loss was the District 1 final?
Correct. That is right. Yeah, it's in the District 1 final, they lost to Westchester Henderson. And that's a very strong team also. Very talented senior class at Conestoga. Lots of game experience. Key players are very strong, contributed to the state run. So it looks like Conestoga might be the best team in possibly the Delaware Valley. So that's one of the teams I wanted to talk about a little bit. But there's a lot of other strong teams, a lot of them up in Suburban 1, Pennsbury, Neshaminy, and so on.
Council Rock North.
Council Rock North and Council Rock South.
Coached by Joe Stackhouse, and he likes his team this year. They went on a nice District 1 championship run through that, and they qualified for the states. I think they believe they got to the quarterfinals last year, if I'm not mistaken. But they did a nice little run, and he's got a lot of returning players, and he's excited about his team coming in. And I have spoken to the Abington coach recently, and he confirmed that Council Rock North is one of the leaders in that group, along with Neshaminy and Pennsbury. And he's excited about his season coming along. And I was reaching out to Randy Garber there at Abington, longtime coach. He gave me some input on some of those teams. So it should be exciting to see how it all plays out in the next couple weeks.
It's interesting. North Penn is another very strong team, another 4A team. Paul Duddy is the head coach in his 18th year, had a great run in the States last year, and they lost to Westchester Henderson. Right. So Westchester Henderson is a team that has to be considered.
I did not know Coach Duddy was there still.
Yeah, 18th year.
He was the assistant at Temple when I was playing.
Is that right?
I didn't know that Coach Duddy was still. That's great. He's a great soccer guy. Cardinal Doherty guy. Growing up in the city.
Doherty guy. Oh, okay. I used to play against Doherty when I played. They have a lot of returning players at North Penn. Very strong team. Going to, have the returning talent that will be the heart of that team: Carter Houlihan, Aiden Jerome, Luke McMahon, Jack Johnston, and Matt Murphy. They did lose a bunch of starters, but they were 18-5 last year. So there's another strong program at the 4A level. Also looked at Radnor. Now Radnor plays in the Central League.
Yes.
You may not have much contact with them.
No, I don't. Not too much with Radnor. We haven't seen them in my past. Ryan hasn't. We haven't played them. The girls used to play them, but again, there's another strong team.
Another strong
and a nice
program.
area where they can reach some players. Them and Carroll were battling for competition there for who's going where. And Radnor's you always see them at the end, kind of come in late, make a late run. They could, a few key losses, and all of a sudden they're weathered for a nice run at the end. So it should be interesting to see how that pans out for them for the season.
Yeah, now Radnor plays at the 3A level. The coach there is Joe Caruola, I guess is how you say it. I'm either Carolla or Caruola. They're heavy into the ball possession and attacking in the front third there, and they're very aggressive on the set pieces. So it's a really strong program. They went 13-7-3 in a tough league last year, and they lost to Gettysburg in the state quarterfinal.
Impressive,
So,
Well, gentlemen, that's quite a lot of information about District 1. Unfortunately, we're going to have to move on to District 3 just to keep things moving. I know we could talk about District 1 all day, along with many other teams. Kapp, what do you have on District 3 for us?
Well, District 3 is an interesting area. It's so if you look at the map of Pennsylvania, District 12 is Philadelphia. District 12 includes the Catholic League and the Public League only. Okay, it's actually the smallest district in the state geographically, but gigantic amount of teams, clearly. Then when you move outside of Philadelphia, the surrounding area is District 1, and then just to the left of that, to the west, is District 3. Dauphin County, Reading, York, and those areas, very, very big into soccer. Are you familiar with the District 3 at all, or?
A little bit. There's a lot of soccer
There's a
out
lot.
in the Hershey area, Lower Dauphin area, and that kind of those soccer clubs that are breeding kids coming up through those clubs and developing players. And I know we reached out to Lower Dauphin coach is a friend of mine, the assistant. Him and I played together, so we spoke a little bit via text today, going back and forth. And again, they went on a run last year. I know you guys were just telling me were they sixth in?
They are sixth in one poll, I think, right? Sixth in one poll, and third in the other poll, nationally.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
So we're talking about a big-time program. Lower Dauphin, the defending state champions, undefeated,
That's impressive.
28-0. There's a lot of other good programs out there. The one league is called the Central Penn League. And that's the one I'm kind of familiar with. I actually reffed out there for a while. My brother lives out there, and he's an official there. And it's just a plethora of talent in that District 3 area. Of course, Lower Dauphin does stand out, and we're talking boys now. Okay, girls also have great programs in that area.
What other District 3 girls teams do you think could challenge Lower Dauphin to be one of the better teams out in District 3?
Okay, well, let's talk about the girls for a second here. Lower Dauphin for the boys is the best team out there, clearly, at the 3A level, 28-0 last year, they lost an All-American here, and they still have a tremendous squad. But if you get into the girls a little bit, you're looking at Cumberland Valley, Central Dauphin, not Lower Dauphin. Those are two very strong programs. Cumberland Valley is a 4A program, probably the top team in that area right now for girls.
They have been for a long time.
Yeah.
Cumberland Valley seems to be always at the end in that district or the state final that you see at the end competing. Again, District 3 always seems to have a team contending for a state title, whether it be them or Central Dauphin. Sneaking in there. I think, is it Moon? Are they in that district?
Moon is out in District 7, I believe.
Okay, a little bit different.
I think it's District 7, which is the Pittsburgh area.
Okay.
It's kind of like the Allegheny
Mountains. At the end, you
Mountains.
see them kind of coming in at the end, teams like that kind of come.
Yeah, in fact,
So-
that's where it is. It just came back to me. It is just outside of Pittsburgh, so it's got to be
correct.
District 7.
Moon was the state champion for the girls last year.
Is that right?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
coming off
Yeah.
that.
I'm not that familiar with the west side of the state, you know, because again, it's a big state. And, I mean, we can only know so much, but we try to learn District 12, District 1, and again, District 3 is the one that's closest to us, I guess, geographically. But there are some very strong programs coming out from the west, especially around the Pittsburgh area. And of course, you can go north into the Erie area, and then across the top of the state, which I don't know anything about. And then into, I guess, District 11, is it? Which is above us, I guess, Lehigh Valley, and so on. But yeah, anyway, so getting back to District 3, I looked at Carlisle a little bit. The head coach there has 311 wins. Greg Clippinger, I don't know him. This is for the girls now.
Yeah, that's tremendous.
311 wins.
Yeah.
It's still
311
You're doing
wins.
something right if you're winning 300 games.
It's a lot. They have a Washington State commit. The girl's name is Liz Weiss. She had 13 goals, 4 assists in 2016.
Okay.
A nice player. Meg Tate had 9 goals. They have 9 returning starters.
Wow.
So they're projected to do very well out there. Also, the State College High School, I guess it's called.
Yep.
I suppose. The Little Lions, that's what they call them.
What are they? 2A, 1A? State?
I'm not sure what they are, actually. I'm not sure about that one. Probably small. I would think it's probably 1A or AA. Doug Bates is it will be his first year as the head coach, but they're projected to do well in that area. So they've gotten some attention. Redland is another one. Have you come across them?
There's some big, they're big soccer clubs. Redland's a big soccer club. The State College is a big soccer club. That's a big area. I believe we were just confirmed they're 4A. State
is that
College.
right?
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's a bigger school with more kids to draw from. And again, it's another team you see at the end. They kind of, when District 1 or District 3, when we meet that state title, it seems like you get those, District 7 always seems to be there, and they kind of meet together. And you see that bang heads. So it'd be nice to see some of these teams play some non-league games against each other. I haven't really seen the schedules for this year. If there's any matchups we can look forward to down the line, hopefully we can see some things like that and project a little bit more of what these teams got as they play more.
This Liz Weiss that I mentioned earlier from Carlisle, she's 5'11", powerful girl, big, exciting player, and she's the preseason MVP in District 3. Patriot News, I guess it is, the Harrisburg Patriot News projects that.
Well, she seems like she will have quite a bit of success after scoring. How many goals did she score?
She had 13 goals and a bunch of assists, and obviously she's in the mix in the offense, and she's already signed for college and
Division I committed to
Division
Washington
I
State.
commit. Yeah, so
Impressive.
it is impressive when they
It's all
commit early, and they're wanted like when they're in 11th grade sometimes, and even earlier.
It's time to move on to a little closer to home.
Yeah, let's get home.
We're gonna move to District 12, which is right down the street from us here at SFBN.
And that's where Coach Haney.
Where Coach Haney is a coach.
That's right.
And we're gonna talk about the public league and also the Catholic league here in Philadelphia. So, what do you got for me, Coach?
District 12 is, like we said earlier, the public league and the Catholic league teams, girls and boys competing. On the girls' side, the Catholic League has been the dominant team as far as the city titles, if we call it, or the District 12 champions, whether it be Archbishop Wood or an Archbishop Ryan team, battling against a Franklin Town girls team who I haven't done much research, but I know they've been in the championship the last couple of years. I think Central is up there on the girls' side also.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Expecting the same type of teams at the end, with Lansdale probably in that mix, and I'm competing for whether girly Catholic League girls team. They're saying Lansdale's probably the team on paper, with Archbishop Ryan and Wood competing. Maybe them and then some teams below it, but I know Lansdale's got a goal scorer returning, a Bucknell recruit. So it looks like District 12 is going to be competitive, again, as always, and it should be interesting to see how those teams come together when they start playing each other in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah. I mean, you talk about FTC and Central, you mentioned the two of them, and their public league teams, they've actually played against each other. I don't know if I have the exact number of years. I think it's 15. It's either been FTC or Central to win the girls' public league championship for the last 15 years.
Really?
So I think I said that correctly this time. Yeah. Now, they've played against each other, I guess, maybe the last 6 or 7 years, something like that. I'm not sure. Brianna O'Donnell is the coach at FTC. You know her?
Yeah, she's the AD and
She's the AD. She is tough.
basketball coach. She's
Yeah, she can be very tough. She's very good. I'm hoping to hear from her soon. I'd like to interview her a little bit. She produces great teams, and that's because she is an excellent coach. Stresses fundamentals and doesn't take any guff from anybody. And that's really the way it should be. She's very good and very successful. And those battles between Central and FTC have been very interesting over the last number of years.
So let's move into the District 12 boys here.
Boys side, very competitive.
Very competitive. Would you pick as the preseason favorite right now?
For District 12 boys, I think on paper it's at the 4A, LaSalle is a returning Catholic League champion. Northeast 2 years ago beat Roman in that city final.
Stunning victory, yeah.
There are two teams I think on paper that could meet. Again, the Catholic League is very competitive right now, and I'm involved in that with Ryan, my second-year coach in there, and we're trying to compete. And we have some returning players. Hopefully, we can be at the end, giving LaSalle a run for their money, along with Father Judge, coached by John Dunlop, and Roman Catholic, coached by Ray DeStephanis, and Roman's got a strong nucleus returning. So it should be interesting to see where the Catholic League falls. I think Northeast is on paper the boys' contender, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're right, yeah. Northeast and Central.
Yeah. Is George Washington in there? I'm hearing they got some players this year.
Washington's not bad. I mean, it's always kind of the usual suspects in the public league, to put it that way. But I mean, it's Frankfurt, Northeast, Central, and Washington, and sometimes a few other teams sneak in there. A few years ago, I remember. Well, it was more than a few years ago. Bartram had a very strong team.
I remember that.
Yeah, they were tough. They were very, very good, very athletic. And then I think it was Furness that had a whole bunch of small, really fast players a couple years ago, and almost surprised. In fact, they almost beat Northeast.
Gotcha.
The year Northeast beat Roman, I guess it was 2 years ago, they almost lost. I think it was Furness, if I have my information correctly.
The night before. The night before they played Roman, they had a scare with Furness. I remember that.
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, and I remember seeing Furness. In fact, I think I was at that game. And Furness, it was Furness. Yeah, and they were very, very quick, and they had great ball handling skills and so on. I mean, for Northeast to beat Roman, I think that's the biggest victory probably in 70 years of Northeast soccer.
Yes, I mean, from a city title. When they came back to it, there hasn't been since the Frankfurt days back in
that's right.
the 70s, and when North and Frankfurt used to battle, I think for the city titles. But again, for Roman Roman pulls out a great win in the Catholic League title, and I think they were on a high and had to turn around and play Northeast, and it was a great game. And we saw a lot of great soccer players on that field that night.
Did they beat Judge? Did Roman beat Judge for the Catholic League championship?
Yes, they did. They beat him in shootouts that year.
Right. Yeah.
It was 2 years going back. Now this past year, LaSalle is the returning Catholic League champion, and they have some play. They lost a few players. A kid going down to Virginia, they lost him, but their goalie's returned. Their goalie's a big-time soccer player. He's a LaSalle commit already, Division I goalkeeper, verbally committed to LaSalle. If I was thinking LaSalle should be very strong. They're very technical, and they brought in some players. They got some other recruits coming in that they're excited about. So I think on paper, like you said, to go back, I think LaSalle is somebody to be curious about and see how they do in the first couple weeks of the season.
Well, it's been great. Can I get both of your final thoughts, starting with Coach here?
How about your team, Coach?
So I'm excited. It's my second year at Archbishop Ryan. We've been working hard, the kids, and we have 7 or 8 senior starters right now, 4 of them that have been 4-year starters, so they're excited to play. So I'm excited to see how they do in the season. I'm excited to see how the rest of these teams go, and I'm excited for another high school soccer season on the boys and girls side.
I'm looking forward to a good season also now. I mean, when you get into the season, it goes very quickly. You get 2 or 3 games a week, and it's only 8 to 10 weeks, and it's just a blur of activity. And then you have your district playoffs, your state playoffs, and if you can keep winning, it's such a thrill for the kids. The ones who get to the state playoffs and the ones who get to succeed in the state playoffs, it's just so much fun. And we have great soccer in District 1, great soccer in District 12, and the rest of the state will challenge us, so we're looking forward to a very interesting season, Steve.
Well, that's fantastic. It's been our pleasure being here. For Jack Kapp, for Ryan Haney, I'm Stephen Schreiber. Thank you for watching In the Goal here on the SFBN.